Hey everyone, Warwick's here. So we're back with part 2 of Transcendence tech, using Transcendence like a god gamer. Part 1 is going to be thrown up in that corner that way. I'll actually remember to do it this time. I say that all the time and then I never actually do it because I keep forgetting. I will do it this time. That I covered 4 dungeons, Ruby Life Pools, Neltheris, Noken Offensive, and... what was the 4th one? Halls of Infusion. Today, obviously, you can see I'm sitting inside Algathar Academy. This is where we're going to start our day today. And then we're going to go hit Azure Vault, Brackenhide Hollow, and then Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. And basically what I do in this video and what I've done in this series is I've talked about all the cool places that you can use Transcendence. Now, I am not the 100% best person to be using Transcendence. I don't always remember the spots. So this series is basically designed to allow you to know when to use Transcendence as an effective way to either maintain uptime, cheese mechanics, allow you basically to live your best life. Now, Transcendence in War Within, if you've been keeping up with any of the monk changes, and I have a video coming on that tomorrow. If you've been keeping up with any of the monk changes, which I go over them as my first responses, again, that'll come out tomorrow. Then you know the Transcendence is going to become a much more potent ability than it is right now, where basically it's just a very interesting movement ability. Now, but today, at least for Season 4, we're focusing on Season 4. How can you use them in the Dragonflight Dungeon Pool to be able to just, again, make your life easier? So, we're going to start with Algathar Academy. There are a couple of places that you can use it. One's on a boss fight, one's on trash. But before I want to get into that, now if you remember from Algathar Academy, there's these Dragonflight recruiters. Each one of these does something different. Black, bronze, like all of them basically give you a buff. There's one that gives you one for every secondary stat. And then the green one down here gives you... just a healing taken buff. Now, which one you're going to pick is going to largely depend on your stat weights. As you can see, I'm well over on verse, basically at the verse cap. But crit, as you can see, I still have some room to be able to gain 5% more damage in crit, which is what I believe. Yeah, Black Dragonflight will do that. So basically, if you're a Brewmaster, you're probably going to go run and grab the crit. If you're a Mistweaver or Windwalker, if you're not crit capped, you're going to want to grab crit. And then if you are a Mistweaver, you'll want to grab either haste or crit or verse, depending on your spec. Bronze does haste, blue does mastery, red does crit, and then green does... They don't do verse. They only do the main secondary stats. So you basically are going to want to go grab probably crit for Mistweaver as well. So Monk, you're always coming to this Black Dragonflight Recruiter, so I'm going to recommend that first. Okay. Now, as a reminder for those that didn't watch the first video, I'm doing these dungeons on normal because it just makes it easy for me to clear everything solo. So not all the mechanics are going to show, but these are going to be ones that, we'll talk about as we go through. And the first boss that is going to have some, that'll have some potential good Transcendence use is going to be Veximus, the first boss, or depending on your route, it'll either be the first boss or the third boss, sometimes even the second boss. That's one of the good things about Algathar is how people do each boss here. Alright, so Veximus is the first boss, so if you remember some of the abilities of Veximus, obviously you have these arcane orbs, which spread out around the thing. You also get arcane fissure, mana bombs, arcane expulsion. There's some very niche tech that you can do here. I don't think it's going to be tech that you want to rely heavily on, because typically what'll happen is with these orbs, because they deal damage when you absorb them, your tank can get them. This follows the tank, so you don't really do it here. So I think it's the arcane expulsion that I recall. The mana bomb you can definitely Transcendent, because as you can see, it leaves a puddle. So if you get the arcane bomb, you can run out and then Transcendence back to wherever the tank is being at. That's going to be the one that you want here. This is another potential Transcendence spot, but it's very dangerous. As you can see, the swirls are flying around. So some niche ones, you probably can use it on the mana bombs. So like, you know, you place it here, you run all the way out, and then Transcendence back in to minimize the damage that you take. So that's kind of really the only true tech that you can do here is maybe the mana bombs. So something kind of niche, but not like completely useless. Croth, the second boss, doesn't really have any good Transcendence tech, mainly because there's a lot of area denial. Croth, or excuse me, Overgrown Ancient, the tree boss, doesn't really have any tremendous tech, mainly because of the strats that you would be taking when you would be doing that. So I'm just gonna I have to clear these bosses because Echo of Doragosa, even in a slightly reworked state, does have some good tech. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go ahead and just clear the rest of these bosses real quick so that I can get, like, open up Echo of Doragosa, and then we'll come back when we're there and I'll show you where you can use Transcendence there. And there's one trash mob as well that we can do it on as well. So we'll actually see when you get to that trash mob first, and then Echo of Doragosa thereafter. So welcome to Echo of Doragosa. Now this boss is getting a little bit of a soft rework to make it a little bit more difficult. It was by far the easiest boss in this dungeon during Season 1. And there is one mechanic that you can do to Transcendence your way out. And so we'll go ahead and pull the boss. And that's going to be on Power Vacuum. I believe it's Power Vacuum. So I'm going to go ahead and place my Transcendence because I know it's going to need it. So Overwhelming Power, if you remember, is basically a mechanic where once you get a certain amount, you create an Arcane Rift that does spikes. So this basically, you don't have to Transcendence this because you can always spread it out far enough that you don't hit anyone else. So this right here is what you can Transcendence. So you got to get out because this does kill you, and then you Transcendence back. I fucked it up and hit the wrong button. Basically, that's what you do with the tick, and that's kind of what you do. You can Transcendence this bomb if you start to get enough of them on high tyrannical keys. She was kind of a nuisance. And again, you can see you can only do them every other one. So you do have to do rolls to get in and out for the others. But that's kind of the mechanic with her. As you can see, she's got a lot of HP even on normal. But you have to be mindful of Transcendencing because you do get the space denial throughout the way. I'll go from there. Oh, and I got Drake customization. That's cool. Didn't know I didn't have this one. So that's the tech with that. You can do the bombs, but you're really going to do the Power Vacuum where she pulls you in. Then you have to get out. You can Transcendence it back in after it's done. Just like mages, you can alter time it. So it's, like I said, useful tech. Double roll also does it, but it allows you to have an answer for every single vacuum because you can Transcendence the first, double roll the second, and then Transcendence the third, I think. Or you can Tiger's Lust, or if you're Windwalker, you Serpent Kick the third. So it just gives you a ton of ways to be able to handle the mechanic so that you are maximizing your DPS uptime on it. Sorry, my guild is like, congratulations on getting the Algathar cat. I didn't play this character in Season 1. So that's the tech on Doragosa that you can use, and that's, you know, again, a couple good places you can use it in Algathar Academy to just, again, it's all about making your life easier and giving you more uptime on your enemies. So the next dungeon that we're going to run to now is, see, I probably should do, I'm going to probably go do Brackenhide Hollow. We're going to do Uldaman last because that dungeon actually doesn't have almost any good Transcendence text. There's one on the second boss and one on the third boss, and that's it. So we're gonna do Uldaman last, and then but we're gonna go Brackenhide and then Azure Vault and do the two in Azure Span here. So I will see you when I'm at Brackenhide Hollow and we are at our first Transcendence spot, which will be the first boss, I believe. Alright, folks, welcome to Hackclaw's Warband. So in this particular group, there is a mechanic that you can go around and take care of in terms of Transcendence tech, and that is the Blade Storm from Rira Hackclaw, so that if you get targeted by it, you can Transcendence near where Trick Totem or Gash Tooth or wherever he's at, run out, get away, or if you get caught up to while she's Blade Storming you, you can Transcendence back to your original position to avoid taking the damage, and higher tyrannical keys potentially avoid taking a lot of damage. So again, we'll show you where that tech is at. So we're just going to go here. Typically, groups will do one of two things. They'll either kill Gash Tooth or they will kill Trick Totem first. It entirely depends. So I'm going to go ahead and place my Transcendence just because. So like here's the Blade Storm, so you're going to want to run away. And then we're going to Transcendence back onto Trick Totem here. And that way. There's that. So that's basically what you do with that. It's just if you get targeted with Blade Storm, you can do it. And the Blade Storm cooldown is long enough that your Transcendence will be back up if you use it early enough. So you would be able to Transcendence all of these and allow you to be able to, again, avoid the mechanic, avoid taking damage, and get back onto the other bosses pretty quickly, and while making sure your teammate's life is a lot easier to go. So it's just really easy tech. Trying to think. Treemouth doesn't really have much in the way for it. Gutshot potentially has some, but it's very, very niche. And Wrath-Eye doesn't really have any. I mean, you could technically Transcendence the totem, but your tank is going to generally pull Wrath-Eye on top of the totem, so you don't even do that. Just getting to the totem, you kind of have to guess, but it's educated guesses with that. But I mean, a roll or a serpent kick is going to be more than enough to get you over to the totem fast enough, considering how small the arena is. So really, this is kind of the only Transcendence tech that happens in this dungeon, is just right here with this Blade Storm. Again, Treemouth, some niche ones, Gutshot, maybe some niche stuff that could potentially be good, but nothing that I think is worth really knowing about unless you're just looking to min-max every single possibility on every single boss. So that's it for Bracknite Hollow. It's a very short dungeon. It's a fun dungeon. You're going to have a lot of, like, Windwalker's going to do very well in this dungeon. Bring your detox with you when you come into this dungeon, if you're Windwalker, because you're going to need it a lot. There's a lot of poisons, spells that you can take advantage of here. But this dungeon is fantastic. A lot of the stuff that made it really annoying is getting eliminated in Season 4. But that mechanic is still one that you're going to be able to Transcendence. So very easy, very straightforward dungeon. I'm going to work my way out, and we're going to go to Azure Vault because there are a couple of different places that you can Transcendence to. So we're going to go just follow all of that and go check those out and make sure that you know about them. So I will see you when I am at the first viable place in Azure Vault. Alright, so welcome to Lamor. He's the first boss here in Azure Vault, which has a couple of different places that I think you can do some good tech for. So this one, basically the Transcendence tech here is going to fall on the trees mechanic here. So I'm going to go ahead and get this taken care of. Erupting Fissure in particular. As you can see, a bunch of Leyline Sprouts being out there. Now your tank is going to try to use, I think it's Erupting Fissure. There's a stomp that he does in Mythic. So what you're going to want to do in, yes, like this right here. That burns a couple, obviously, and then it spawns adds in the Mythic version. But what you can do as a Windwalker or Mistweaver is you see you get this, is you can Transcendence while you're spread out trying to get as many of these as you can. Because in Mythic, you're going to want to get all of these so you get all the ad spawn, because otherwise he'll explode these right here with Consuming Stomp. And as you can see, it doesn't do a lot of damage because, again, on normal. But that's kind of the tech. So you're going to want to there was a way as a tank to like get him to burst a bunch of these like this. There, I got 3. So explosive brand. So let's say, hey, you're gonna go right here. You're gonna want to get out for that, and then he does the knockback. And say you're gonna come over here and do these 4 right here, and then you Transcendence back to where the boss is standing or wherever your tank is standing. It's niche because your tank might not. It's niche because the tank might not have like everything moved in the right direction, so you have to be mindful of it, but at least it allows you to potentially get back up onto the uptime with all your communication. So it's not foolproof. I will say that it's not a foolproof method. Roll, Tiger's Lust, Serpent Kick for Windwalkers is probably going to be just as effective, but if you like have a situation where you end up accidentally like misusing your movement economy, then Transcendence is another tech that you can use there. So Azure Blade, don't think has any good tech for Transcendence. So I'll go through, and if there is, we'll talk about it as I go through it, but I don't think there is. So the next one is going to be Umber Skull. So I have to kill the whole dungeon. So I'm going to go ahead and get to work on that while we are doing that, because the old skip has been fixed so that you can't do that anymore. So the old Azure Vault skip that every group used to do is no longer going to be viable here. So the tech here is going to be mostly... Now again, the crystals are getting reworked slightly, so again, this is going to be a little hard to show here. But we'll try to show it off as best we can. Excuse me. Been a long day. So you can see here's where the crystals are at. So you having to go run off into Narnia to do the crystals, you can come back here to do that. So that's kind of the tech there. These also chase you around, so you can also use tech there to make sure that these don't get you. But really, it's going to be more about wherever the crystals spawn, because they spawn on players. So you're gonna have your mage standing way out in the fucking Dickens out here, and you're gonna have to go kill like the hardened crystal's gonna be out there. So you're gonna have to get it, which means that you're gonna have to find some way to be able to potentially Transcendence back in. So that's kind of what the tech there is for. It's mainly to just protect you in the case of crystals and maintain your uptime on Umber Skull. Or potentially save you from orbs. If they all start chasing you, you run out. You can place your Transcendence before you do, and then get them far away, get the orbs or the blobs far enough away, and Transcendence back in. Alright, and the last one is Uldaman Legacy of Tyr. Now the good thing is I can just skip right to the bosses that I need to get to, so that's what we're going to do. Okay, so we're in front of Bromac now, and there's actually 2 ways that you can actually do Transcendence on this boss. One is kind of like a cheesy way, but basically there's going to be a Geomancer that spawns over here, so you can pre-place a Transcendence there, and then when the Geomancer spawns, Transcendence, kick it, and then move on with your life, especially if you don't have a good range kick, like you're playing with a Moonkin or a Shadow Priest. You can get over there and kick it. But what's probably going to be the more common tech, honestly, is going to be on Thundering Slam. So what's going to happen is, like, here's where the Call of Duty, you can see there's the Geomancer. That's the caster. You're going to want to kick them because they're annoying. But this is the one that you want to look at. Thundering Slam goes out, you can Transcendence right back in and get onto the boss. Because everyone's got to get out of that, otherwise it does kill you. So that's going to be the tech that you're most likely going to use it for. There is Thundering Slam. Now again, you can't use it on every single one, but you will be able to use it often enough that in a long, especially on this fight, it's very long. Oh, I gotta go kill the 3 dwarves. Especially on fights where on Tyrannical, where that boss fight lasts a long time, you're gonna be able to do it on 2 or 3 ones, and then just be ready to use other movement abilities to get things like the Quaking Totem or to the Geomancer to kick it. Alright, so I'm gonna kill the 3 dwarves because I gotta do it, excuse me, for this boss fight to advance further on. So I'm going to do that, and then we will see you in front of boss number 3, because that's where the next Transcendence tech is at. Welcome to Emberon. So Emberon is the other boss that has good Transcendence tech here, because of his intermission mechanic. Even then, may not be 100%, just kind of depends. So basically what the tech is here, when my brother messages me in Discord, is that when he goes into his I gotta wait for him to heat up. I can't kill him yet. Alright. So basically, we're gonna Transcendence this. Then you can boop right over to the next one. Now, obviously, I went the same way as the Vault Keepers did here, so not ideal. And obviously, in Mythic, you will not run through the fire. But that's like what you can do if you get kind of stuck, is you can Transcendence the other side, especially if you're like right here on the like a last one that's right here, and the flame comes. You set your Transcendence. Back up. Once the flames by, Transcendence over and get back onto the ad so you can defeat it quickly. So that's the tech for Emberon. So I'm gonna try to get the hell out of here, and we're gonna actually, no, that's all 8 dungeons. So Chrono Lord Dios doesn't really have much in the way of Transcendence tech because of all the space denial that happens into the flipping of time. So I don't think there's really any good Transcendence tech that you can use there. There, again, with Emberon, it's kind of niche, kind of situationally dependent, so you're going to have to be aware of what you can do with it. But I do think it's one that you would be able to take advantage of pretty well. So, but that's all the tech in the last 4 dungeons. So again, we covered Oldemon, Azure Vault, Brackenhide Hollow, and the Agathar Academy. So let me know if you have any questions. Did I miss anything? Put it in the comments below. And until the next video, I hope you all stay safe. I hope you're enjoying yourself. You're having fun. You keep on gaming. Hearts out. I'll see you in the next video. Take care.